Angie, you did it. You actually made me a host. I love it.
Yeah. 6 episodes in, I figured it out.
Yeah. Hasn't taken you that long. That's pretty good. Hey, okay, we'll start the show.
All right.
Okay. Hey, everybody. This is Michael Colon.
And this is Andrew Giarusso.
And you're so lucky because you are hanging with Mike and Andy. What a cute entrance we did. I love that.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
They
so
get better and better.
every time we do this, it's like we've learned from the previous episode.
We have.
Like we know we'll sit here and talk and never introduce our guests. So I'm gonna do that first.
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't butcher it this episode.
No. No, I'm lucky because I actually know this guy. This is Jason Koenig.
What episode? Hold on. What episode did you butcher it on?
The last one. No, it's because I got the title of the movie wrong that we were.
Yeah, the
reviewing.
title was The Acid King, and he almost called it The Acid Queen.
Oh no.
Well, that's a song from the Who's Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm just weird. was just clearly ill prepared, and I apologize.
Yeah, that is okay. That's why there's two of us.
I know.
So do you want to introduce our guest today?
I'm scared now. I feel like you have no faith in me.
Pressure.
I have faith, Michael.
Yes. Well, this is one of my dear friends, Jason Koenig. And Jason, say hi.
Nice to meet you.
I said that right, Koenig, right? It's Koenig.
Podcast world.
It's Koenig, right?
Koenig.
Yeah, okay. Because it looks like Koenig, so I just want to make sure I'm saying it right.
Koenig,
What is?
Yeah.
Is it German?
Koenig is king in German. They say
Oh.
König or Koenig, and I've always been Koenig, so I don't know.
Yeah. You're like, they don't know what they're talking about. Damn those people. But I'm excited because we talked about you being on my last podcast and we never made it work. And today, now you're on my new podcast.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited because you're a director.
I am a director, or so I try to be.
And you direct cool things like music videos and commercials.
I do. I have directed some fun music videos.
And I've worked on some of them with you.
It's true. I actually am very curious. So for those of you in listener land, I did 3 music videos this fall. The first of which was Ed Sheeran, Overpass Graffiti, which is his next single. And
that's the one I worked on.
Michael was the scripty.
Yes. We had a good time.
Wow.
But that was my second time working with Ed Sheeran, just my first time working with Ed and you.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And it was my 7th video with Ed. 6th video with Ed. The 7th was the Elton one that I just did that comes out tomorrow.
Which I was not invited to.
Cool.
Crazy.
Shame on you.
There's no room for you, Michael.
Clearly, I know. I saw the Christmas card. There wasn't any room.
Yeah.
But I would have found room. You guys, I'm little. I've been working out. I'm little now.
Indeed. I'm actually really curious when we dive into this, if you ask anything about Overpass Graffiti, I'm very curious what your observations were compared to how it turned out to what
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Well, I didn't know it was out. I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was out, so I haven't seen it. So I have to see it.
You should watch it. It's one of my favorite pieces of work I've ever done, I think.
Well, it's I did see that Ed was posting about it because he posted pictures of him with the rave.
Yeah, with the blue face, with all the paint glow in the dark.
Yeah. So I'm so bad. I didn't know it was out. I apologize.
It's all good. But
Well,
you
good.
should watch it. It's very fun.
I can stumble. Well, I remember when we were on set, you showed me some rough cuts of it, and I thought it looked amazing.
Yeah, that was such an interesting shoot because it was a mad dash scramble. Like, I wrote a 4-day video and we shot it in 3 days, and then my time got cut because Ed did a video the night before that ran late, and so we were playing catch up the whole time. And I just feel like it was a mad sprint, just totally relying on instincts and good prep work. Like, we did everything we could beforehand to make it work. I thought that was fast. I had 3 days, and then I did Elton John in 2.5 hours because that's all the time we had him for. Because he hates music videos.
Because what, he hates music videos?
Apparently, the video that comes out tomorrow, Elton John, Ed Sheeran, Merry Christmas, is the first video he has done since 1994 because he hates music videos.
What? So what made him do this one then?
He loves Ed.
Yeah, I mean, Ed's very charming. How can you not?
They're friends. They're good friends. And they and so like, have you guys seen Love Actually?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know the plot line of the old pop star that's trying to get a Christmas number one?
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's like the whole subplot of like Christmas, I wanna let it go. It's that old like, it's the dude and he falls in love with his manager at the end, and it's the whole situation. Yeah. Turns out that is a real thing, and in the UK, every single artist wants a Christmas number one, like badly. Like the Beatles wrote a song to get a Christmas number one, and Elton's never had one. He's had a number 8, and Ed Sheeran Perfect was a number 1. So they're doing this so that Elton can get a number 1, a Christmas number 1. That's basically the plot of Love Actually.
That's amazing. And well, then we got to get it to number 1.
Exactly. So everybody go out, and I don't even know who votes for these things, but
yeah. Well, they're usually on
Merry Christmas season.
Yeah, just look it up. Go to Ed Sheeran, look it up. I'm sure he'll post about it.
Yes.
Which clearly didn't work for me since I didn't know Graffiti Overpass was out.
It's because the reason you didn't know it's out is because it came out the exact same day as his album, and so there wasn't much of a push on the video. It was just all about the album.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay,
good. So for a second there, I was going to take the blame, but
you're off the hook.
Yes, but not the next one. But just so the audience knows, the very first music video I ever did with Ed was Sing with him and Pharrell. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't on set as much because it was mostly the puppet version of him. Which both him and the puppet are very, very nice.
Indeed.
No, actually, Ed's very nice. But you guys have become good friends.
Yeah, we were actually friends when he did Sing. We were friends for about 5 years before we started working together.
And how did you?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you answer the question anyways. How'd you guys meet?
We met at the 2013, I think it was, VMAs.
Yeah, because you were there with the video you did with Macklemore. I remember this.
Yeah, Can't Hold Us that I directed for Macklemore.
Yeah.
Won a handful of VMAs, and which turns out that's a good time to meet Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, for sure.
And become his best friend.
A lot of people too.
Yeah, no, he was actually sitting right behind Ben and Ryan, and he didn't know anybody there. And we'd never been to an award show before. Like Macklemore, Ryan, myself, none of us on our team had any idea what an award show was supposed to be, what etiquette was. So like we were just a tight-knit little squad of friends that made all these things together for years.
Yeah.
And Can't Hold Us blew up. The Thrift Shop obviously blew up, and then Can't Hold Us we got nominated for 6 VMAs for. And when we won Best Hip Hop Video and Best Cinematography. And we didn't know any better that like jump up, run down to the front by all the stars. Like we just totally all celebrate, me and the producer and the DP and all that. Like we just didn't know any better. And apparently you're not supposed to do that. So like we just didn't know that. So we were just celebrating because it was freaking awesome and we won.
Yeah.
And then we realized years after that, as I've gone to the VMAs a few more times and have never won again, turns out you're sitting next to all the people that lost. So over celebrating is a little bit of not the sweetest thing to do.
Yeah.
But I heard that people thought it was charming because we were we just weren't kind of jaded by the industry and didn't know any better. And it was
and you guys just being real.
It's a project you guys work so hard on. So, why wouldn't you be excited about it?
Totally. But Ed was sitting right behind them. And I actually was, there was a countdown on like VH1 at the time that was the top music videos, and my mom recorded it every week because Can't Hold Us was always at the top. And then this redheaded kid that had Rupert Grint in his video like passed us, and my mom recorded it, and that's how I discovered Ed Sheeran.
Oh, that's funny.
So,
I do remember that video with him and Rupert Grint.
Yep, Lego House. That's a good one. So then I just introduced myself, and we started talking, and he was playing in Tacoma, opening for Taylor Swift Mostly I'm from Seattle, and so he was 30 minutes away from home, and I sent him an email. It was just like, hey, want to hang out, and we hung out and just became friends.
Damn, Andrew, we got to start doing that with celebrities. Just email them and ask to hang out. Maybe that's the way to do it. We just learned a valuable lesson today. No, that's actually really cool. And he's a really nice guy. So
he's one of my favorite humans, way outside of the work we've done together. He's just he's one of the only people I've ever met that like I aspire for this, and I'm not nearly as good at this as him. And I'm like, I feel like everybody should aspire for this. But literally, if he says he will do something, he does it. Like I've watched him, a random kid, ask him for a random thing in Toronto, and 2 weeks later, he's like, "Hey, did we ever do that? We have to follow up on that. We have to do that for that kid." And he's done it with me, and I've seen him do it with his friends and family and random fans. And like, he just, when he says he'll do something, he makes sure he does it. And I just have a deep respect for he just cares about people, which is really cool. And I don't think he likes the fame. He's just he's a really sweet, normal human. And he loves the fame when he's on the stage, but not so much when he's off it.
Yeah. But I've never got the vibe that he was unapproachable. Like I said, I've talked to him a few times. Yeah.
He's a sweetheart. I'm a big fan of him as a human.
Well, that's fair.
Like, it's interesting. Here's a story that I should or should not tell, but it's honestly please tell. In the film industry, it's like one of the kindest things, and I've definitely the kindest thing anybody's ever done for me or my crew. Okay. Basically, we shot Shape of You in Seattle, and it was right before Christmas. It was super last minute. He backed out of a video that he was supposed to be shooting on like November 27th, and he didn't want to skydive, which is what the treatment was, and he thought he was doing it on green screen. Mm-hmm. And then he found out they wanted him to do it for real, and he's like, "I'm afraid of heights. I'm not doing that." And they were all prepped for the shoot. So he backed out, and the director wasn't available after that. He'd only really worked with one director before that, Emil Nava, and who's freaking great music video director. And he, but he wasn't available, and nobody else Ed knew was available. And the label basically said, "You have to do this." And he goes, "I'm not doing this." And they go, "Well, your directors aren't available, so what do you want to do if you don't do this before, like, in the next 10 days? If we don't shoot this in the next 10 days, you're going to miss your whole album release. And it's going to push back your tour and da-da-da-da-da."
Oh, wow.
And we'd been friends for 5 years, and he said, "Call Jason. He'll take care of it." And so I got a call at 2 a.m. from Atlantic, UK, from the commissioner there. And he was like, "I need a treatment by the end of the day today, London time." So it was like I had 5 hours to write Shape of You.
Wow.
So wrote Shape of You and sent it to him. And Ed changed one scene, and I said, "You have to come to Seattle for us to be able to pull this off in this timeline." They were in Seattle 6 days later, and we shot it. And anyway, we did that, and then we did Galway Girl in London, or in Ireland, in Galway, and then we did Perfect in Hintertux, Austria, in that year. And like my core crew worked on, from the VFX people to the producers to the, like, my core crew was the same on all of those.
Yeah. And
I've worked with them for years. And when he came and played his stadium show in Seattle at the Seahawks Stadium, I bought a handful of tickets for like my super key crew, because he has this thing where he basically, friends and family buy tickets for half price and it all goes to charity.
Oh, wow.
And
nice.
I bought some tickets. I bought as many as I could afford to buy for people. And obviously I didn't have you and your family and whatever. And Ed found out that I bought tickets and was like, "That's ridiculous." He gave me his whole guest list and told me to have every one of my crew invite their kids and their partners.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And then he turned his green room into an after party for us the entire time.
That's incredible. See, that just shows what kind of person he is.
He's just one of my favorite humans. Yeah.
I've never actually seen him in concert.
Oh my God, he's unbelievable in concert.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun to see.
Yeah, he's
like, I've seen him perform. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, when he's doing the music videos, like when he was doing Sing, but he's not really performing as much because they lip sync because you don't want to hurt your throat. But yeah, I've never actually seen him performing. That'd be kind of fun.
Well, and I'm curious what I think this next tour he's going to do with a band, which he's never done before.
Oh wow, okay.
It's always literally just been him on a stage with a loop pedal.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Unreal. One guy on a stage in a stadium for a 2-hour set where the freaking 40,000 people are eating out every word, eating out of the palm of his hands, like loving every minute of it. It's the most impressive show I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Andy, let's go.
Yeah, we should.
Because I don't know if it'll still have. I mean, he's really freaking good and he's got great music, but that's magical. I'm very curious what it'll be with a band.
I'm sure it's going to be
better. It's only going to get better. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then you also do commercials too, because I worked on a couple commercials with you.
You did. We did a Halo Top ice cream commercial. The one day it rained in LA and it was supposed to be sunny by a pool.
And what's so funny is actually that they asked me to. Wasn't on set with you then either. Remember, I did remotely.
Yep.
Because that whole COVID thing.
It was pouring down rain.
So before, and I'll let the audience know that. So you and I worked on a movie together in Seattle. That's how we officially met each other. You're the director of photography. So I hadn't seen you physically in person because I wasn't on set for that commercial. I didn't see you until we did Ed Sheeran's Graffiti Overpass.
Indeed. It's crazy.
Wow.
Which was like at least 3 or 4 years. But you're down here in LA now.
Yeah, we moved to LA. Really good timing, right before the pandemic, like a month before. So I feel like I still don't live in LA. I hang out.
Sure.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We gotta go. We gotta go hang out and get a drink. I know we keep saying that, but like we have to because it's the holidays. Now's the time to do it.
I literally ate at a restaurant for the first time in 2 years, like this week.
Really?
My wife just went to a restaurant in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah,
it is crazy.
At least you guys are being safe. That's good.
Indeed.
As we all are.
Well, and it's crazy. Like I think in the film industry, it's just so different because you're like, if you get COVID, you don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and if I get COVID, it makes everybody else's job harder. Like actually DGA wise, if I got COVID and was hired on a job, they just have to bump me to remote and I still do it, but it makes everybody else's life harder.
Sure. With remote streaming and
it just feels irresponsible so taking calculated risks, but not definitely respecting the position that I have.
Yeah.
I guess. So,
and I work remotely, but it's not as easy because there's notes that I can't get from you.
Totally.
Yeah. And Graffiti Overpass was a lot of fun. It was just an interesting way because it was so quick. And we were just like everywhere.
It was so fast. It was so hard. There were so many. I mean, it was probably a 150 person crew. The one day we had 100 extras and
we did the rave scene. Yeah.
The rave scene, 100 extras, 150 person crew. And we were sprinting. Like I've never done a shoot that had to go that fast before. And
why was it moving so fast? Just because of timing and getting stuff done, or you only had a certain amount of time in the day?
I infamously try to make a movie fit into 3.5 minutes.
Okay. Sure.
And I have successfully done it a handful of times, but it's not easy to put a 5-part story arc into a 3-minute film with trying to build a world. And that's kind of, especially with Ed, that's what I do. And it was 110 degrees in the desert for 2 of the days.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just we only had so much daylight and we shot it. And then, like I said, Ed finished on his Dave Meyers video. He was supposed to wrap at 11. And I think he wrapped at 3 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Day, our day 1, he wrapped at 3.
Oh, wow.
And so they pushed him back a little bit, and then we were playing catch up the rest of the shoot, kind of. And then we lost. There's things. I feel like so much of directing is prep. I've just learned that 85% of directing is prep and prepping well and making all the right decisions beforehand so that when everything goes to crap, you can just shoot. When things don't go to plan.
I say that to people all the time.
And it's crazy. One of the things that happened on that shoot that also made it challenging, we were set to shoot the Malibu Creek rock pool on day 3 at 5 p.m. in like beautiful light. I'd scouted it 3 times. We blocked the exact shots. We had it approved to come in and like have a crew there. And then on Thursday, we were shooting Saturday, Sunday, Monday. On Thursday night, the city called and they were like, it's too hot. Amazon did a shoot there this week and it didn't go well. We don't want to close it down anymore. So your permit's pulled. You can still go shoot there, but we're not keeping it clear for you. I'm like, I can't go shoot the scene with 200 kids swimming in the rock pool.
Yeah,
so I begged them to let me go in before the park opened. So we went at 6 a.m. after day 2 wrapped at like 11 p.m. We went at 6 a.m. and I wasn't allowed to bring any crew. So it was just me.
It wasn't
me. The kids, one record label person, and my first AD, and that's it.
And Ed too, right?
And Ed, yeah, the kids and Ed.
Because I was not there. He's right. I was not there.
Yeah, and so we were shooting with no crew, and none of our shots worked because the light was in a completely different place. So it was like blocking on the fly, shooting on the fly. So it's just being able to adjust. So much of directing, it's like 85% planning and making all the right decisions beforehand, and then it's like 10% being able to adjust.
Yeah.
And then the other 5% being everything went perfect, just like I planned.
Yeah. I always tell people that even with crew, is the best advice I can give you is just be willing to adapt, because you never know of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
well, like the head of Warner, the most important person in the music industry, she decided that she flew from Vegas. She drove out to see Ed on set.
Yeah.
And then she left, and she came to have a sit down with Ed on set in the middle of our shoot day. So when we were doing the car sequence with him and the family, everybody was like, why are we waiting around? Why are we waiting around? And I'm like, because Ed's having a meeting with the head of Warner Music.
Yeah.
And they're like, how long is it going to be? I'm like, I have no idea, but we're just going to wait. It's going to be fine.
It's welcome to the industry.
Yeah. And so, we had a very, very specific schedule to hit our lighting in all these different environments. Yeah. And we just had to adjust in order to make sure the key ones were in the right lighting. So, because it was very natural light.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. I'm trying to think of all the things. There was tons. I feel like we're in like so many locations. I feel like we turn around, there's another location here. I will tell you this. I remember the first day I got to set, I didn't see you right away. But when I did see you, because you come in the corner, you look at me, you're like, Mike, good luck. That's all you said. I said, but I've worked with you. I know your style, so I was prepared.
But
you were just so funny. You're like, good luck.
Yeah, well, and part of that was I just knew we were like half of it was car work that you couldn't sit in the car.
Oh yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
The motorcycle stuff was fun when we were on the process trailer.
Yeah, I think you should watch it. It's great.
I know. I'm embarrassed. I'm online right now saying that I haven't watched it yet, but I just didn't know. I was waiting for it to come out.
It would have given you very good questions. I think it's true. I think it's.
Well, I could watch it while we're sitting here. No, I'm just kidding.
You could just watch it in the background. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Andrew,
you talk. You guys talk.
Yeah, we'll chat. Well, I hear you're from Seattle.
I am from
Seattle. Pretty cool. I love Seattle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Seattle's one of my favorite places to go visit. And I see you're also like a big Mariners fan.
I am a big Mariners fan.
That's pretty cool.
These are all photo. I've gotten to work with them, which is really fun, because basically when I was a freshman in high school, I took photography class because my dream was to shoot the Mariners.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was shoot a baseball game. And
have you ever shot them?
Yeah. No, I became friends with them after kind of my early Macklemore work. We did a video called My Oh My, and been a friend of the team ever since, and have gotten to shoot quite a bit.
That is pretty cool. It's a beautiful stadium too. It's one of my favorite stadiums in the league for sure.
Are you a baseball guy?
I'm a big baseball guy. Yeah, I collect baseball hats from all the stadiums I go to, and
nice.
We did a trip out in Seattle, and I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and we did everything she wanted to do. The gum wall, the first Starbucks, Pike's Place, all this stuff. And we're sitting at Pyramid Brewery. And I'm like, there's this baseball stadium across the street. Like, we should go over there and check it out. Maybe they do the stadium tours, which they do during off season. So got to do the stadium tour, went down on the field. The weather was obviously getting rainy, so they were doing the retractable roof. So we got to see that happen. It was just incredible. It was, I wish I went to a game there.
Well, if you're back up there in the summer,
yeah,
I will
100%.
I will have them take care of you.
Yeah, no, I definitely will. I've been to QuailCom a couple times. I've been for like the MLS finals, and I'm a big Packers fan. I don't know if that's going to ruin this interview or not.
Defend me.
Okay,
I was on the sideline of the NFC Championship game where the debacle of how did our kicker throw a touchdown pass that turned around a sure thing win of the Packers
for sure.
to take us to the Super Bowl.
For sure. That was
shooting that game.
Yeah, which is incredible.
And a bummer for you.
Yeah, totally. But it happens, you know. I used to have a buddy who he's still my buddy, but he used to play for the Seahawks, Malcolm Smith.
Nice.
We went to high school together, and yeah, he ended up getting me tickets to a game up there, which was amazing. So that was fun.
Very cool, very cool.
I went to high school with someone who was in sports.
Who is that?
I was just feeling left out. Adam Kennedy. He used to play for the
I know who Adam Kennedy is. I have Adam Kennedy's autograph on a baseball card.
Yeah, we went to high school together.
That's awesome.
His father was a teacher and taught me history in summer class. Yeah.
Nice.
I used to hang out with Adam all the time. So when he played for the Angels, we were like, that's kind of cool. And then when he got him to the World Series, I was like, I know that guy.
I know him.
But I don't know them I don't know him like I know. This video is great, by the way, man. All the stuff at the this
video
looks
awesome.
great. And I'm watching the rave. It looks good.
The music video is really good.
I apologize. I haven't seen it yet. I'm the worst.
You are the worst.
Hey, at least I knew the title of it this time. You be quiet.
That's why I know, right? That's why you have to do your homework.
Well, I do. Well, the thing is, I know Jason, so it's not like I know him as a person. So I think that's why it's easy because I can just talk to you, and then you can just fill me in. But I do my homework. I'm the worst.
No, it's all good. But it's fun. You should watch it and take it in one time. I think it's one of the better pieces of filmmaking.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool to see Ed Sheeran, I guess, being featured now in his music videos, because there used to be there's an older interview where he was like, I hate being in my music videos. I hate being on camera. You know, whether it was the way he didn't like, you know, the way he looked or whatever it was, he just hated being in it. So now he's all fit, he looks good, and he's like, yeah, I'll show up in a music video. Why not?
Well, no, even in Shane, like the first one he was in was Thinking Out Loud, which Emil Nava did, where he ballroom dances the whole time.
Yeah. That one's good.
Yeah, it was an amazing dancer. He was dancing with her, and the next video was Shape of You, and he was like, I'm not sure if I want to be in it. I'm not. When they talked to me about it, and I was like, you're going to be in it. And he told me two things. He goes, I want to fight a sumo wrestler.
Oh, nice.
And I'm not taking my shirt off.
You're like, fair enough.
So then we're on set, and I'm like, I write this whole I write the narrative around. I had written a video for a song on his album called Nancy Mulligan that was about his grandparents' love story. Sure. And his grandpa was a bare knuckle boxer, so it started with a bare knuckle boxing fight, and that was like the opening sequence. And so he goes, we should do your boxing idea. And he's like, but I want to fight a sumo wrestler, and I am not taking my shirt off. And that was all I got. And then I wrote the video in like 4 hours. And then on set, I'm like, you got to take your shirt off, man. Your boxer. And he literally, and there's a great behind the scenes that has never come out, where he goes, I'll take my shirt off if you direct the scene with your shirt off. I'm like, nobody wants to see that. He's like, nobody wants to see this either. And so literally he takes my shirt off and I direct the scene topless.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
I love that.
So ridiculous. I don't look good with my shirt off for sure.
Hey,
I don't either. That's why I've been dying.
Though.
Got the shots.
You got the shots. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's actually a fun story.
Yeah, pretty fun.
So what's going on next now? Like,
Oh man,
when am I getting a phone call from you? Is really what the question I am asking.
I am hoping to take the next month and a half off. I just finished like the Christmas video with Elton. I turned it in 3 days ago.
Oh wow,
Still fresh.
We shot it on the 17th, so it was 2 weeks ago we shot it in London, and then I'm pitching a commercial that I may or may not get that shoots the end of January.
Oh nice.
And I think I'm unplugging for the holidays.
Taking a break.
No, you should. Yeah.
I haven't taken a break in a couple years, so
yeah,
it's about that time.
Totally.
Yeah. Good. Then we can go get a drink. Yes, finally.
Perhaps we can.
Because I've not hung out with you since we did the movie.
I felt like I learned a lot about just the kind of director I wanted to be, and the way the way that like we shot a lot in a little bit of time, and like learning how to organize shoot days, and I just feel like I learned a lot on that. It was an full length feature indie film that we did in Bremerton, Washington, which I'm pretty sure no one had ever shot in Bremerton, Washington before.
No, we definitely descended upon that town. They just did not know what happened.
They didn't know.
They were like, "What's going on?"
But it looks pretty good. Johnny, who's been my DP now for years and my right hand, edits with me on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Core team member. He was my camera operator, or one of the camera operators on that. And he hadn't watched it, and I made him watch it during COVID. And he's like, "This looks way better than I thought it would."
That's awesome. No, it was. I had a really good time on that movie, and I met you. Like, I met awesome people. So at the end of the day, I enjoyed that. And the weird thing is I had a lot of friends either from both high school and college that moved to Seattle. So while I was up there filming, I would go across the Puget Sound back into Seattle and actually have lunch and catch up with old friends I hadn't seen in like 15 years. So that was kind of cool too.
Indeed.
So I made new friends, but caught up with old friends. And
it was. And you know where I grew up. You have been to my childhood home.
Oh, is that your childhood home, really?
On the water where everybody stayed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that little area.
Yeah. I wasn't the house on the water where like people were saying I was a house back is where I grew up.
Oh, got it. Okay. No, I like the area.
Yeah.
I like Bremerton.
Right. What else? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, Andy. What do you got on your mind? You guys can talk about sports. That makes Andy happy.
I don't know. I do love sports, but I think we got that out of the way.
Yeah, because I have nothing to contribute. Sorry, guys.
What is, without trying to offend anyone, what is your favorite music video that you got to work on? Or I guess project. I guess it could be a commercial too.
No.
It's funny, not to cut you off, but it's just funny because I'm a huge music fan. So I work in film. I see actors, actresses all day, and I don't care that much at all. But I went to Stagecoach one year with a friend of mine, and they got me backstage passes and artist entrance, whatever. And there's like all these musical artists around me, and I'm like, in myself, I'm like, oh my God, am I really fangirling right now? Because I just love music so much, you know? So music videos are a big thing to me. I love music videos. I love the music videos you've done. So yeah, it's like which project was the best to work on, or
that's funny. When my the fangirl in me, I never have cared about actors. I have never cared about musicians at all. If you throw any obscure 90s baseball player like Adam Kennedy in front of me, I not only recognize them on the street, but will geek out inside, which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
It's the things you're a fan of when you're a kid.
Yeah, they stick with you.
Yeah. No, I think I have a handful of favorite for different reasons. I think that Macklemore Glorious is the greatest music video ever made.
I agree.
It's totally not, but it completely is.
Yeah, it is, because it gets you in your feels.
It is the most feels of any video in the genre of all time.
It's a music video that makes me tear up every time I watch it.
It's like it's everything good about the world in a video.
Yeah.
And it's just so good. So that I think is my like, which was so freaking painful to make. Like it was so hard.
Sure.
It was literally me and Johnny, my DP, with 2 cameras. We actually turned up at her house. Basically, the plot line of the video is Macklemore's grandma's 100th birthday.
Mm.
She lives in Modesto, California, and we literally flew down there, and it was just me, Johnny, Ben Macklemore,
Yeah.
Ben's wife, and Ben's mom, and that was it. And Hannah, my producer, who's Ben's wife's best friend, like that was it. And it was literally showing up at her doorstep, not telling her we were coming,
Wow.
and taking her on an adventure. And she was 100 years old. It was her 100th birthday.
Wow. That's
That's
amazing.
incredible.
And it was like, with the only cheating we did in it is we actually shot for 3 days because she only had about 2 hours of energy a day, and it was
Sure,
Modesto and it was hot and it was summer. So
Yeah.
we made 3 days look like 1 day, but it was literally just docu style, run and gun. Everything in it was real. Nothing was scripted.
That's awesome. I
That's
love
amazing.
that.
What a great story.
And
I
it
love
was
that. The best part's when the stripper comes in.
and the stripper comes in.
Oh,
Ridiculous. Michael, have you seen that one?
No, I am
cool.
not a Macklemore fan.
Well, you will be after this video.
Okay, I'm going to watch it now. See, this is why I like hanging out with you guys. I'm learning stuff.
That one, I love that one, and then I love Downtown. Like the Downtown music video, we shut down Spokane for 7 days.
Oh, wow.
shit.
It was just an epic monstrosity of like 2,000 extras, 400 vehicles, a
Yeah.
whole like city that we just shut down like blocks at a time each day. And
They must have loved you.
it's such like a it's just a big old musical ridiculous thing with 5 featured artists, and it's just so grandiose and epic and fun and ridiculous
Yeah.
Yeah.
that no one, for sure, no label would ever let me do that. Like if they weren't independent, and
Yeah.
it should have cost like $5 million and only cost 1 because
Oh,
we were
wow.
no label indie minded craziness, but it was awesome. And that one won an EMA, which is like the European VMAs,
Yeah.
which is cool.
That's cool.
So those 2 I think are, but Glorious is my favorite end product. Downtown was so freaking fun to make, and then I really liked the Ed video. Shape of You is special. Shape of You is really special.
Yeah.
And so that's a really good memory. But then my other favorite is Put It All on Me by Ed
Okay.
Sheeran and LMA, and like
Sure.
nobody's watched that one either.
Sure.
In the Ed Sheeran where Shape of You has almost 6 billion views. Put It
Yeah.
All on Me has like 40 million, maybe something like.
Oh, really?
That, which is 40 million is a lot of views, but not in that realm.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's got so much heart. It will also put you in your feels and give you. We basically the label called me and they're like, hey, it was for his number 5 collaborations project, which was it came out in between Divide and this album Equals that's out right now. And they did a video for every song, and Ed wasn't in them all, and it was just like doing a video. And the label called and they said, hey, can you just find some cool space in LA, cast 3 or 4 like dancing couples that are like kind of represent a bit of the world, and just shoot them dancing in a studio for a day, $100,000 budget. Can you just go do that?
Just take my money and go.
Yeah.
And what I said was, I was like, honestly, I don't want to do that. Can I just have the money? And I'm going to go around the world and find real couples and go with no crew. And we're going to shoot as many real couples as we can dancing all over the world.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so
pretty cool.
me, Jenny, Hannah, my producer, and Johnny came for like 4 of the 16 days. We did 18 shoots in 16 days with 17 flights.
Wow.
Jeez.
and it's so cool, and just told the stories of all these couples. Like it covers the globe of human
awesome.
beings, and it's just human.
That's brilliant. Good for you.
Yeah.
And I love it, and very few people have watched it. So if you're gonna watch anything, watch Put It All on Me, watch Glorious, and watch Overpass Graffiti.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wonder why that one has less views. I mean, is there a specific reason you think?
It wasn't a single. Like, it wasn't a single. It wasn't. It even. It was kind of a bummer. The way it worked out. It was supposed to be Ed's wedding announcement. Like, he was gonna go, surprise, I'm married, and he's in it with his wife, and it's the first time his wife's ever been in anything.
Yeah.
And somebody leaked to the press that he was married.
Oh.
So it already got out, and then he got asked a bunch of questions, and then it kind of took the wind out of that sail of like trying to get it out.
Yeah.
And so the label sat on it. They were like, we're just gonna sit on it. And so it was supposed to come out in June of 2019, and it came out on Christmas Day 2019.
Oh, they sat up for like 6 months then.
And then he literally posted it on Christmas. He said, here's a Christmas present, surprise Christmas present for you. Merry Christmas. I'm out to work on the next album. And then he was off social media for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
I do remember him being off social media.
So that was kind of just didn't have a push. It didn't have a single push. It didn't have a moment. But I love it. And I'm super proud of it. It's super
Sure.
fun.
Now, when you guys did Shape of You, did you have a feeling like this is the one, this one's going to blow up? Or no, it was just like another music video you did, and boom, it's the biggest music video probably ever made.
Third.
Third. Okay. Because what's number one is Ariana Grande?
No. So, this is a technicality.
Okay.
First is Baby Shark.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
You know what's crazy about that,
Oh.
real quick? Is Baby Shark used to be a camp song that I used to sing as like a 6-year-old.
Should have made a music video for it.
For sure. Okay, number 2.
Baby Shark's number 1. Despacito is number 2, which came out around the same time as Shape of You.
Despacito, really?
The Latin world just took it
Yeah.
to the number 1 spot.
It's a big market, sure.
Yeah. But I mean, 6 billion views. I doubt that'll ever happen in my career again.
Yeah.
Kind of messes with your head.
Sure.
Yeah, it really does, right?
Just changes the gears. Well, and Perfect has 3 billion, which is pretty epic. And I loved Perfect. Perfect is it was a fun experience and a great, like, we went to the middle of nowhere in Austria because it was the only mountain open in the world when Ed had time to shoot.
Oh, funny.
All the snow in the village is fake. There was no snow. There was snow at the top, but not at the bottom. It's crazy.
That's crazy. And Overpass Graffiti right now is at 24 million.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm cheating.
Cheating.
And when did that come out? Overpass Graffiti?
3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it says a month. It said it came out a month ago, and I just now found out. Wow, I'm so disappointed in myself.
Incredible.
I'm sad you didn't tell me, Jason.
Well, I also did one post about it, and I did a Macklemore and Ryan Lewis video, which is the first song they've done together. They kind of split up 5 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They did a song together that I did the video for, and it was literally like I finished that edit and hit like upload to YouTube at 6 a.m. on Friday, the whatever day Graffiti Overpass came out. And they came out within like 20 minutes of each other, but I was working all night like on another video and had been in it for like, we shot it 8 days before that. It was just like
that's crazy.
A dead sprint, so I didn't even get to sit and enjoy them. Like, I posted once about each one of them and slept for 3 days.
as you should.
As you should is right.
But
that's so cool. I'm happy to hear that everything's going so well for you, my friend.
It's and it's taken a long. The funny thing is, I still don't do a lot of music videos. I'm both really selective, and they're just really hard to do. Like I'm repped by Anonymous Content, and I think, they make huge films and have a huge commercial department, and their music video world is just kind of smaller. It's just not the biggest priority to them. and they do everything really, really properly, and they bid everything really, really properly, and they pay everyone really, really properly, which makes it really hard to do music videos.
Yeah.
And I totally respect them for that, but it's really hard to compete in music videos with, in an industry that just undercuts. So I'm pretty selective about music videos, but I've broken into commercials with them, and I love doing commercials. But it was like a 4 years of writing on everything I could possibly get to pitch on, and losing. Like I wrote on things and I decided at some point I was just like, I'm gonna write on everything I get the opportunity to write on. I'm gonna take every call I get the opportunity to call with agencies, and I'm gonna learn how to do this. Like I'm gonna practice pitching until I figure it out. And I'm gonna keep making things that are good enough to get me jobs on my own, with music videos and stuff. And it took a few years, but I definitely broke into the music video world, or sorry, the commercial world. And
voila, here you are.
That's what it is.
Oh.
So,
yeah, that's pretty amazing.
No, I love that.
It's a lot. I'm actually, if you wanted to talk about or ask, I don't know how much you guys talk about industry stuff, but
we can talk about it. I mean, we're not an industry podcast specifically.
No.
We're just two friends that hang out. We're in the film industry, so we can talk about it. We're just hanging out.
I definitely just I find there's so many things I didn't know, because I didn't mean to be a director at all.
Yeah, sure.
I was a photographer. I wanted to be a baseball player. Then I blew my arm out when I was 17, and then I couldn't afford to go to college, so I started a photo business, and then I made enough money to go to college, and was like, why am I going to college if I made enough money to go to college?
Yeah.
And so I did photography for like 10 years, and then fell into, my friends became pop stars, Macklemore and Lewis, and I fell into directing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anybody or anything. And so it's been a big like learning curve. And I feel like there's so much I've learned that whenever I get the opportunity to like tell kids that or whoever that are like trying, like what you can learn before you stumble over the same stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
It was always good. So I don't know.
So what do you say? What advice do you give them?
Oh gosh.
You
gotta have, I guess I need more questions. Like when kids have questions, I love trying to actually like take the time to answer. Yeah. Like on the Halo Top job, the first Halo Top job I did, there was it was the one we did. The one that we did, the one on the beach, and the guy that was the working out one. So that the COVID, like one of the COVID team that was like walking around and making sure everybody sanitized their hands and was wearing masks.
Yeah.
I didn't see her all day. She had glasses on and a mask. And afterwards there was this younger woman standing outside, like just kind of chilling by the producer's moho or whatever. And I said hi to her, and she's like, "Can I ask you a question?" And she just goes, "How do I become a director?" I was like, "Oh man." And I sat and I talked to her for like 2 hours, and she's from India, and she had made short films in India that are really cool and impressive for what they were. And I was like, do this and do this more, and just sat and like talked to her about lighting and about little things I saw in her camera work that it's like, if you just put an ND filter on this shot, it would look better. Or if like you could see just a few different little things. And I was like, but go keep doing that. It was just really fun talking to someone and being like, yeah, you're absolutely good enough to do this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sometimes that's all people need to hear.
Yeah, no, totally. And I kind of have a similar story. Because I kind of want to do the same. I want to be a commercial director, is the ultimate goal, I guess, as a video guy, for me. But there's a big commercial director, Brian Buckley. Mm-hmm. Not sure if you've heard of him. He's through Hungry Man. And one day was the same thing. I'm standing behind him. He's like, "Hey, go grab me a water." So as a PA, I ran, grabbed him water, brought it back. And he's looking at me. And he's like, "So what do you want to do in this business?" And I was like, "Look, I'm sure you hear this all the time, every day." I'm like, "But I want to do exactly what you're doing. I want to direct. I want to own my own company. I want to have it all over the world. What do I need to do? What do I need to do to get started?" And he was like, "The best piece of advice I can give you is shoot. He goes, "Because you can make 1 million things and people aren't going to like, 999,000 of them. but somebody's going to like one, and you never know where that one person's going to take you. So just shoot, make content and show it. And,
Yeah.
because you just never know. You just never know. And you got to take those chances. It's like that saying, like you miss every chance you don't take. So
Yeah.
why not go for it?
Similarly, I remember saying to this young woman that I was like, don't wait for somebody to discover you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn how to tell a good story and shoot it with whatever camera you have, and then get in and edit it and learn what you can learn from what didn't work, and then go shoot it again. And like every time, don't necessarily like find, this is a great piece of advice. Actually, I remember giving this to kids. I used to volunteer in a photo class at the high school next to where I lived in Seattle for years. And I would tell kids, I'd be like, for every three really good photographers that you're like photo stalking, that you're like looking at all their stuff and make you feel terrible about yourself and like you're awful. I go, you got to find 5 people that are doing it professionally that are worse than you and look at their work.
Yeah.
So for every 3 that you look at that are better than you, you have to look at 5, find 5 that are worse than you, that are making a living, just to like center yourself on where you actually are. And then when you're trying to shoot, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just try to outshoot yourself.
Yeah.
Try to tell a better story than yourself. Try to be better, like try to do better lighting yourself than your last project. And absolutely pull from things that you love and emulate, and it's the sincerest form of flattery for sure. But don't compare yourself to freaking David Fincher. Compare yourself to the guy down the block that's making a living doing it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then admire and try to like replicate David Fincher and push towards that.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that balance of being like, I've heard a great definition of humility that I really, really like and have stuck to forever. It's an accurate assessment of yourself.
Sure.
Oh, interesting.
Well, yeah, it's cool. Well, it's kind of like you said, like don't shoot to get discovered, but it's like shoot a lot to discover yourself and discover what you can actually do, which is pretty cool. Because it's true, you learn, and you only learn from the mistakes, and you learn from showing your content to other people and getting advice. And
well, and I think also like a good tip is screenshot images that you love.
Yeah.
And start keeping a catalog of them and just be like, oh, I love that. Boom. I love that. I love that. I love that. And you're like, why do I love that? When you actually go back and look at why you love that, and you start shooting and you see how you emulate those things, grabbing things that appeal to your, like, I just really think that's beautiful and like that someone else did, will help you discover your voice.
Yes, totally.
Oh, that's actually cool. I never thought about that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool way to think about it.
Because we see so many images in a day, and like 90% of them go over your head. 99% of them, you just don't care. When you see that one that like speaks to you, grab it, because you all of a sudden you start looking at a folder and you're like, this is what I like. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Why do I like this? And you start emotionally processing what it says to you. You're like, oh, I want to make things like that. Super helpful for finding your voice.
Yeah, sure. And I guess if you do have a lot of those screenshots in order, it kind of will give off like a theme, or like a vibe that you're trying to give.
100% that you didn't know. That you didn't know.
That you didn't know. It was just kind of self-conscious. You're like doing it yourself,
Yeah. And sometimes it's composition, and sometimes it's emotion, and sometimes it's lighting, and sometimes you don't even know, but it's
actually great advice.
You can pull an iPhone up and take a picture of your TV, like press pause, take a picture of your TV and just keep it in a folder.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
And then if you ever go to make something and you're looking for references, you happen to have a whole bunch of references.
Right there. The ones you actually like.
That are actually things you like.
Look at that. Great advice.
Hey, Andrew, what does your shirt say?
Can
we say that on the air?
I don't know what. I think it's
it says Bluck.
Well, BLVCK, but I think maybe it's an upside down A, so black. Yeah, Bluick.
It was such a profound moment, and I'm looking at Your shirt was distracting me for a second. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can hide it.
Yeah,
a little
why you
bit,
gotta
show
wear
you
distracting stuff?
Yeah, I'll just hide it.
It's
I'll be
hanging
in the
with
stars now.
it's hanging with Mike and Andy, not just Andy. It's not
What
the
else?
Andy.
What's another random thing that your fans don't know about you?
Oh.
About me or Andy? I talk
Both.
about all my shit. I have
A random fact that their fans don't know.
I mean, I'm a
about
twin.
us.
I don't think I've ever mentioned that on this show, but most people know I'm a twin.
But nobody that hasn't met you.
That's true.
True.
I'm a twin.
That's
I don't know
true.
how exciting that is. I have a twin sister though, so.
That's
But I
fun.
don't. Did you know that? I think I mentioned that to you, right?
I did know that.
Yeah.
You told me that when we did the movie. It's true.
So
That
many
was the
years
first
ago.
thing he said. Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a twin. Nice to meet you.
I kind of lead with that. I just throw that out there,
That's a good lead.
and I say, and I'm the gay one. That's what I say.
Haven't you how many horror movies have you directed? Something
Like 9 or
Something
10 or
crazy.
11, 12. Well, I took your advice. I mean, I look, I agree with that. Just keep shooting. So I just keep shooting stuff. So I've probably done 20 films, but most of them have been horror. So I'm going to say 16 maybe.
16 horror movies. That's freaking awesome.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. And then you ask, like, how many projects does he have on his IMDb? And it's over 200. Easy.
Right.
You guys, I like working. I like making movies.
It's true.
All right.
I
Look, one day people want me on their podcast talking about shit that I do.
Sure.
I want to make a horror movie. I have a great idea for like a supernatural thriller.
I mean, I'm ready. Let's go do it.
It's in my creepy hometown that you have been to.
In Bremerton?
No, Belfair. So remember we stayed out like 30 minutes past. It's where we did like the four-wheelers and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
That's Belfair. That's actually
I
like
just have to remember it. Okay.
30 minutes west of Bremerton.
Yeah.
20 minutes
I mean,
west.
let's
Well,
talk.
do you remember driving by like the gun range and the drive-in movie theater and the little airport?
I do vaguely, yeah.
That's all
Vaguely.
going out to my
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah. I just remember that because Bremerton is a Navy city. Navy.
Yeah.
So remember the big Navy ships.
Yep.
I do remember that. And that was the first time I'd ever been on like a big ferry going across a sound. That was kind of fascinating.
pretty cool.
I mean, I've been on boats, but I just had never really. I don't know. It's just interesting.
That was my childhood, getting dropped off at the ferry and going to Mariner games to get autographs. And
Yeah?
sneaking into the kingdom because I didn't have any money.
That's
And now
awesome.
look at you, friends with them.
Now look at me; they give me tickets. All I ever wanted as a child.
If only you could talk to your childhood self.
If only you could talk to your childhood self. Good name for a podcast.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, you heard it here first. I do it all the time. One of our guests, I ended up telling him, naming the title to a sequel to a documentary he did. I'm really good about that shit.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy? You didn't say anything.
What's your? He's been deep in thought, thinking about.
I've been deep in thought. I've been trying to swerve it a little bit. Maybe we'd forget.
No, he's
about
probably
it.
trying to figure out what the hell
What's
his
my-
hoodie says.
What are you? Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. What is this question that we're waiting on? What is the most interesting fact about me
that nobody knows.
that nobody knows?
That the audience doesn't know is what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, he's not that interesting. That's why I do all the talking.
I'm really not. I'm I'm more the techie guy. That's why I'm a video operator. Just let me do the website.
Yeah.
This is kind of sad, but I mean, it's kind of interesting that I have asthma. I think that's pretty interesting. And I've had asthma since I was like 4 years old, and it's never gone away.
Okay.
Wild.
I don't know. I don't want to bring down the
No.
mood.
You just brought it
But I
down.
think it's pretty interesting because nobody in my family has asthma. So,
Interesting.
you know, and my family didn't smoke. I was never around smokers. So yeah, it's just really
Weird.
kind of a weird thing that popped in.
That's like that random dumb thing that I got diagnosed with like 3 years ago. I never had. I'm the only one in my family with it.
Yeah,
That-
it's really weird how the body works.
So weird.
I think now that we're down that lane, the weirdest thing about me in that lane is I broke my neck when I was 18.
Oh,
What,
no.
really? Oh shit.
Which was
See,
great.
well, you're lucky to be alive.
I
Did you pass out, or were you like awake and alert?
No, I like ran out to write about. I was on a lake in Washington, in eastern Washington, and I ran out to right above my knees and just shallow dove straight out. And there was a log sticking up out of the sand and not out of the water. Caught the back of my head, heard my neck break. There were a bunch of my classmates sitting on the beach, and I was like, if I don't get up, they're gonna think I'm joking. So I stood up, walked into shore, and slept on the houseboat that night. And
Oh my
a
god.
friend like gave me a back massage, put Tiger Balm on my neck, and I was like, I could my neck locked up, and I like was trying to turn my head as far as I could. The next day, I like cleaned the boat on my hands and knees while we were taking it back. Rode a bus back to Western Washington.
Wow.
Got out, stopped and got food, and I was walking around. They were calling me Frankenstein because I was like couldn't move my head. And
Wow.
we got home, and I didn't want to go to the hospital. I just started dating Jenny, who's my wife of 15 years. We had just started dating, and I hadn't seen her in like 3 weeks, and I just wanted to go hang out with her. And so I was like, I don't want to go to the hospital. It's now been 2 days. It can't be broken. I had this one of the other kids that was on this like camp trip thing with me. Her dad was a chiropractor. I had him come down. He came down and got me at the bus, took me to his house, aligned my spine with no X-rays or anything, which is insane.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then I went home. I slept in the recliner because I couldn't. I like my parents' living room. Slept in the recliner because I couldn't lay down and sit up.
Wow.
And the next day, I was still hurting. My dad's like, "We got to take you to the ER." So I went to urgent care, and I walk in. It was like 2002. I have a choker on and made out of a bandana and a puka shell necklace and And I go in and they're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I dove into the water. I heard my neck break, or I heard a pop, and I've been walking around for 2 days. I'm probably fine." And they're like, "Oh my god, don't move!" And I literally stood there. They came out, cut the necklaces off me, put a neck brace on, put a backboard on me, laid me down, ambulance me to the ER.
Oh my god.
And I'm in the ER for like hours waiting. They do like tests and they're running them back, and I'm waiting in there, and everybody's like, "You're probably fine. You're probably fine. You're probably fine. You've been stable for 48 hours, whatever." And they come in. They come in and they take me to do X-rays. This is so random, but they do spinal X-rays from the side. They like scan you from the side because they can't roll you over.
Sure.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like I'm a fairly big guy. I have pretty broad shoulders, and so they couldn't see C7 very clearly. But the tech, I'm giving you way too many details of the story. I'm pretty
I'm loving this.
Pretty certain the X-ray tech is not supposed to be doing this. But the X-ray tech, I look a lot like my older brother. And the X-ray tech went to school with my older brother. And so he thought I was him. And so he came and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Jeremy." And I'm like, "No, actually, I'm his little brother." He's like, "I went to school with him." And he's talking to me while he's doing the X-rays and he's seeing him. And he's like, "Hey, I'm not really supposed to tell you this, but it looks pretty good. You can't see any breaks on the X-ray." So I'm like, "Okay, I'm fine." And they wheel me back to the room. And then it takes a while to read the X-rays. And then the doctors come in and they're like, "We think you're okay, but your C7 we can't see C7 very clearly because it's right between your shoulder blades. So just to be safe, we want to give you a CAT scan." So they like take the backboard off of me. I have the neck brace still. I walk into the CAT scan room. I lay down on the table, do the CAT scan, pull me out of the CAT scan tube. And there's 4 big guys standing over me. It was the lifting team. And they're just like, "Don't move at all. Don't panic. Just let us move you over." So they put me back on a backboard, wheel me into the room. Doctor walks in. He goes, "I don't know what you believe in, son, but God saved your life. I've never seen a break like this not cause paralysis. I don't know how you got up and nonetheless walked around for 2 days.
Oh my
Holy shit.
god.
Your C7 vertebrae, which is the big one if you touch the back of your neck, is fractured, shattered, and compression broken. And there's a piece of bone impinging your spinal cord 13%. He goes, "Don't move at all. If you swallowed wrong right now, it would paralyze you." And I'm like, if I swallowed wrong, cleaned a boat on my hands and knees, ate a few times, got my spine aligned, I'm just like, holy crap. And I'm like,
yeah, I mean, going to the chiropractor, like,
yeah,
oh my
crazy.
god.
And I go, "Well, what do I have to do now?" like, what do we do now? And he goes, well, normally with a break like this, we'd have to airlift you to Seattle. I was actually in Bremerton. He's like, we'd have to airlift you to Seattle and do spinal surgery to remove that bone chip before we could set your spine.
Oh, wow.
Because we can't put a halo on until your spine's set, and we can't set the spine until the bone chips is gone. He's like, but for some reason your whole spine is aligned, so all we have to do is set it in a halo.
Dude,
That's crazy.
Because I went to the chiropractor.
That is the craziest. That is the craziest story.
So then I'm gonna finish it off because it's great.
Yeah, please.
So then they're like, we have to put a halo on, which, if you know what a halo is, it's like football pad chest protector with bars that come up, and then they screw the bars into your forehead with like a ring around your head, so it holds your head off your body, like it holds your neck totally still and straight.
Yeah.
And you have 2 screws behind your ears and 2 screws in your forehead. You can kind of see I don't know if you can see the screws in my forehead.
Wow, they actually screw into your head?
Yeah, they screw 3/4 of the way through your skull.
Oh my God, how's that feel?
I'm 18, and I'm like, my mom's in the room. They told Jenny was there, and they were like, you should leave. And she went outside of the room and was in the hallway, and the nurse was like, no, you should like go out in the parking lot. And Jenny said she could hear me screaming from the parking lot of the hospital.
Oh.
Because they can't give you any painkillers because they have to test your reflexes afterwards. They just give you like Novocaine in the skin.
Yeah.
And then they screw into your forehead, and it felt like I was being. You're simultaneously, your head is in a vice clamp because it's basically compressing all your plates. So it's 4 screws going at the same time. It feels like your head's in a vice clamp and someone's like grinding down. You're being stabbed in the forehead and behind the ears.
Yeah.
With all the pressure you can think of. And then it feels like a blowtorch is on the top of your head because all the plates are basically making an earthquake.
Oh, shit.
And so it's like the most crazy excruciating. They get it on, they bang your knees, and you're like, they test reflexes to see if your like fingers react and your knees react, and then they just knock you out with drugs.
Yeah, then you're like, give me the drugs.
And so then they gave me drugs, and then I woke up like, who knows how many late hours later. It was dark. It was probably like 4 a.m. and I woke up just like throwing up because I hadn't eaten anything all day at the hospital, and then they put me full of drugs and I was just throwing up. And then the doctor came in and checked on me, and they're like, are you okay? Like, is there anything abnormal? Like, how's the feeling in your hands? Like, is there anything that feels, other than the screws in your forehead, is there anything that feels abnormal in your body? And I was like, yeah, there's one thing. I'm like, right here, like at the bottom of my sternum, I'm like, it feels like somebody like slugged me in the chest. Like there's a big bruise. I can feel it. And it's under this chest protector. I'm like sticking my hand under this football chest protector thing and going, yeah, the bottom of my sternum feels like I've ran into something or bruised. I don't remember doing it, but I was like at a summer camp for a week. I could have done something. And they're like, oh, don't worry about that. That's from your chin.
Oh no, your chin hit your.
So when I go, my chin bruised the bottom of my sternum.
Oh,
that's a hard. Damn, dude.
You know,
and
it's
then
crazy.
I had a halo on for 4 months, and I'm walking and thankful for my life.
Yeah, I mean, there's this TikTok chick. I don't know if she's a star or not, but that just happened to her, and she went to the Maldives or the Greece or whatever and jumped off a boat into a sandbar, snapped her neck, and now she's completely paralyzed and in a wheelchair for the rest of her life.
So scary.
So you were extremely lucky. That's
lucky,
amazing.
Yeah. So
thank you for sharing that story, though.
Yeah.
Seriously,
yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's not a story many people in my current life know.
Well, now they will.
Now they will. Pretty crazy. I mean, it's a pretty miraculous story. Like it's definitely made me at a very young age, like not take life for granted.
Sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
And like take risks, and it kind of emboldened me to be like, didn't embolden me to dive. I don't do anything. I don't like snow ski anymore. I don't do anything that I could get hurt doing. Yeah. But it emboldened me in life, being like, man, if I wasn't supposed to be here, I wouldn't be.
Yeah, that's a very powerful statement.
So it's just kind of given me a little bit more of a like confidence of trying to make something out of every day.
For sure.
Dude.
And now
thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Killing it. Killing the game.
Killing it.
Now I make weird music videos that my whole aspiration is to make people smile. Oh, here's a fun one. You want another little fun bit?
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
So I read a psychology article. I think it was from like Harvard or Stanford or something that was talking about depression and talking about anxiety and talking about basically there's a study that was done that I know none of the details of, so deep dive and look it up if you want, but it basically said if you smile for 3 minutes a day, it fundamentally changes your biology. And
Really?
you will have a better day.
Interesting.
Oh, wow. I actually kind of believe that.
And I read that right before making Downtown. And that was the motivation for Downtown. Was like, if I can make people smile for 3 minutes, it fundamentally changes their day.
Yeah, sure.
And so I have very much tried to give people a human emotional experience that brings them joy in music videos. That's what I try to do.
Brilliant.
Almost
That's
across. Sometimes they're more serious and sometimes they're not deep and they're whatever. But when I have control of the creative, that's generally what I'm trying to do, is give you a genuine feeling of joy and make you smile, which is what Glorious does so freaking well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think Put It All on Me does the same thing.
Yeah.
There's actually, and I think Graffiti Overpass does that too, and so does
It's a fun one.
so does the Macklemore video that just came out called Next Year, and it's very different. It's dark humor, but it makes you laugh the whole time.
Sure.
The plot line of it is the hook of the song is next year is going to be better than this year, which was like how everybody felt in 2020, and then
Of course, yeah.
and then it totally wasn't better.
Yeah, right.
So the whole plot of the video is just kicking the shit out of Ben because the world just not the feeling of 2021 not being better than 2020.
Yeah.
With this weird sense of optimism that it was going to be, but then you get your ass kicked. That's the video, and it's pretty cool.
It's a good concept. Sure.
You should watch it. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, we will.
We're all still doing it. And this, well, at least 2021's almost over.
Yeah, indeed. And I can't complain. I've had a great year. I really, really want to get to where I get to go make friends and hang out with people and whatever, but I've been lucky to have made a handful of friends and to have work and get to hire friends. And
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful for everything you've helped me with, so thank you for that.
yeah, I'm glad I got to bring you on a couple things this year for sure.
We're going to work together more. I mean, clearly we're going to do a horror movie. We just talked about that.
You got to do something for sure.
Mhm.
Horror does great.
Horror's,
Start
I feel like you've mentioned that. Were we not talking about that on?
I think I said that on Halo Top. I actually hate horror movies personally. Like I don't watch them, and I don't like being scared that much.
Yeah.
I just think I have a really good horror movie in me.
No, but you didn't tell me on Halo Top. I think you told me on Graffiti Overpass because I wasn't with you on set. Did we not talk about that?
No, remember I called you at lunch.
Yeah, you did call me at lunch. Yeah.
On the day we did the guys on the beach, the two chubby guys on the beach.
Yeah, I remember. Is that when you brought it up? Well, anyways, I do remember you bringing it up.
Because we talked for like 30 minutes at lunch.
Yeah, it was great. I'm glad you called.
On the phone.
You FaceTimed me.
Yeah, I FaceTimed you, and I'm pretty sure that's when I told you. But I honestly,
I don't
Graffiti
even
is such a
remember.
whirlwind. I don't know.
You're right. There was a crazy shoot.
It feels unlikely. I feel like I didn't get to talk to you at all on Overpass because
I spent a lot of time with Jenny. That was I hadn't seen her in a while, so it was good to catch up with her.
Indeed.
So we hung out a lot on that one.
Yes.
So, well, I think the audience should go check out Graffiti Overpass because that's what we worked on together.
It's true.
But at 26 million, I'm sure everybody's already seen it.
I don't know. It kind of got a little bit buried by the album release. Didn't really have a moment. I hope it'll pick up steam. It had a little bit of steam at the beginning, but it's kind of died down.
Well, I think now that the album's out, people are gonna go listen to the song and they're like, "Oh my god!" and then they'll look for it, kind of like and watch it, like I had did. So
I think it's very fun.
No, it is fun. I love it. It was fun to work on. It was a trip, that's for sure.
It definitely was a trip.
Yeah, it was hot. What is it?
No, it's hot, and it was hot. It was challenging, and it turned into a pretty good piece of art. So
See, there you go. Good things come from adversity.
Indeed.
Take that line and move on.
I mean, it's definitely, you can either come up against things that you come up against a roadblock in any kind of endeavor, and you can either let it like break the back of it, or you go, okay, that's a parameter that I didn't know was there, and it's going to box me in, but I can make something really good in this space.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the parameters and limitations we have like make the best art, because you have to get more creative.
Yeah, it challenges you to think in a way you probably wouldn't have thought before.
Yeah.
Which is
And
not
then-
a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool.
The process, it's really funny because I got done with that shoot and I was really disappointed because of how fast we were going. Like, I didn't get to watch playback once the entire video.
Yeah.
Like, it was go, 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 go. And I knew there were things that I had in my head that I intended to shoot a very different way.
Okay.
And I had to compromise. In the moment, I had to make the right choice to get the video done rather than making the right choice for that particular scene.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
just pivot. And it took me about a week after the shoot to get to like emotionally feel better about like, no, I'm just going to make the best thing I can out of what I have.
Yeah.
Cause like we're handheld in the VW bus. I'd never intended on being handheld in the VW bus. And
Oh, interesting. Okay.
and I had to do that because we had 2 hours we had to make up. And so
Yeah.
I jumped in the bus and I shot him for 30 minutes and that was it.
I do remember that. Yeah.
With no crew, I didn't get to light it. I was planning on blacking out some of the windows and making it a little bit more shaped in the lighting. And I was like, can't do that.
Just got to do it. Yeah. It's got to do how you can do
Got to
it.
keep it pushing. And it's like, again, that's why I say it's planning, but I prepped the vehicle right. I cast the kids right. I picked the right equipment. I knew how to make the best thing I could out of the limitation that I had.
Yeah.
But it wasn't and then again, the rock pool being at the wrong time of day, and the woods scene, something happened on set in the woods scene where the kids go back to the VW bus and it's busted, and then the old creepy guy comes up and they run away and find themselves in a rave.
Yeah.
Like, that moment was supposed to be like different than what it is. I went out to that spot. It was between when we shot Yama on the bus, the sumo wrestler on the bus at the end. In shooting order, we shot that, and then while the rave was getting lit and prepped, we were shooting over in the woods with these kids. And for whatever reason, I have no idea what happened. None of my camera crew showed up. Like,
Really?
they didn't show up. So it was me and Johnny with a camera and flashlights. And we were like, and I knew that if I didn't just shoot it the best I could with what I had, that I was going to lose out of the 45 minutes I had to shoot the rave.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to shoot this now, or actually I should say, or I'm not going to be able to go over and look at the lighting in the rave and finesse it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we just shot it with.
And the rave was actually the last thing we shot, right? If I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was the end, and I knew that was the end, and I knew I didn't have the budget to go overtime at all.
Yeah.
Like, and I've actually had a really consistent streak of like 5 years of not going over time at all.
Oh, congratulations, man.
So I didn't want to break that. But it was interesting, like shooting with no crew, and I still don't know what happened. And that was like such a compromise to what I had in my head.
Yeah.
Of how I was going to light that scene with a moon and with like all these things. And I just didn't get to do any of it. And so I
actually didn't. I don't remember. I mean, I was there at that spot. I don't remember the camera, but maybe explain why I couldn't. There was no monitors. Maybe that's
you
why
couldn't see anything. But there you go. You learn. You just keep learning, and sometimes.
Bro, even after 200 movies, there's still things I'm learning. And I direct and write. I'm still always surprised at things I'm learning.
We had so our Elton John shoot that we did, on like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We literally had him for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Because that's all he wanted to do us. And like that, to shoot a whole video in 2.5 hours
is insane. Yeah.
That was like, we had 6 setups in 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And it turned out great, but that was crazy. Talk about using everything you know how to do and being like,
yeah.
Oh crap! Are we
kind of led up to this?
Like
For
it's
sure.
you're like, are we going to be able to do this? I don't know.
And that's
Give it our best.
and that's
shot.
a kind of video. That's a kind of video where you need to be prepared.
Yeah.
Need to have it down.
And he was great. And I got the feedback that not only does he love the video, but he had a lot of fun on the video.
That's amazing. That's
Which is
good.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah. Maybe he'll want to make another one soon.
Yeah. Who knows?
And then he'll know who to call.
And then we'll do it.
And then you have a nice.
I hear there's another Christmas song for next year that's way funnier.
Well, I'm available, just so you know.
It's called. So do you know what a Christmas cracker is?
A Christmas cracker? No, is it an English
It's a thing
thing?
in England. It's those things that you like pull on both sides and they pop, and then there's like a little toy inside.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's called a Christmas cracker. And you pull them and they go pop.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And apparently, the song next year is called "Pull My Christmas Cracker, You Get More Than a Bang."
Wow. Wow,
And it's
that's
all-
so much fun.
And it's apparently all just hilarious innuendo,
Yeah.
Christmas innuendo, which is great.
Great time.
Actually, that's gonna be. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be fun.
It sounds very funny, and it's Elton and Ed again.
Of course, yeah. So you already know.
He talked about it on the air, so I assume I'm allowed to talk about it.
for sure.
Yes, as long as okay.
Anyway, there you
Anyway,
go.
I appreciate. Wow, we've been at this for an hour and a half, and so
Too
this was
long.
a fun one. No, this was great. Are you kidding?
This was
Just the stories you have are brilliant. So thank you for sharing those with us.
For sure.
Thanks for hanging with us, man, and finally getting to actually sit down and talk to you, which I haven't done in a while.
Yeah. Usually we're on set, running around, or on virtual set.
I still think we're gonna go out for drinks soon. Once you start feeling comfortable.
I'm down. I'm definitely down. I would say probably beginning of January is better than I'm headed out of town for
The holiday, yeah, of course.
Washington DC for the holidays, but I'm super down.
All right, come early January, we're doing it, and then we can tell more stories.
Indeed. Andrew, good to meet you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you too. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us and
For sure.
letting us know those cool stories, man. It was really cool to hear, your side of the story.
Like I knew, and I still learned cool things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just pretty incredible to see the position you're in now, to where you had no intentions on doing that, and just watching it blow up in front of your eyes overnight, really, and
Or so it appears. It was.
or so it appears. Sure,
I mean,
It's
literally,
hard work.
I did like 3,000 photo shoots before I directed anything. Paid.
Yeah,
photos.
well, it's hard work, and you work your way up, and
Yeah.
I just want to congratulate you on
Yeah,
your career
appreciate
so
it.
far. It's pretty amazing work, so
It's,
keep it up.
Who knows where it's going? And
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the
We'll take
next
you back on the
projects.
air.
But definitely, Michael, your job, your homework is to watch Glorious, because it's
I'm going to.
will
Yes.
bring you joy.
Okay, I will text you after and say what I think of it.
Glorious, put it all on me. Both of those
put
are
it all
awesome.
on me.
Okay, glorious, and put it all on me. I'm gonna do that.
And
I'm
if
doing
you're
it. Today.
if you're a Christmas fan, watch Merry Christmas, which apparently is the only song on Spotify named Merry Christmas, which is ridiculous.
Which is
Whoa,
very
that is
ridiculous. yeah.
really.
People were like, "No, we're not going to do it. It's too on the nose," and no one's ever thought about
They
that.
named it as a temp name, and we're like, we're gonna have to change this. And then Ed was searching, and he's like, "There's none."
He's like,
That's-
we got it.
yeah.
We got the first.
That's crazy. Well, there you go.
That's funny.
All right, well, I guess we'll close the show now.
All
But this was a lot of fun. And if you guys, how can people find you? That's the next thing.
Jayco Photo, JKOEPHOTO.
Yep.
On Instagram at Jayco Photo, and then my website is jasonkoenigdirector.com.
That's easy to find.
And
And we'll link all that in the show notes like we always do.
That's
we'll throw it
that's
up
the world.
So anyways, you guys, you can find the show on Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. That way you can watch our fun faces react to everything.
Yes.
No. Exactly.
Cornerman get uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Stories we don't know.
Anyways, this is Michael Colomb.
And this is Andrew Giarusso.
And a big thank you to Jason Koenig. And you
Thank you,
are hanging.
Jason.
You're hanging with Mike and Andy.
Mike and Andy. See you guys.